Chapter 11. Why the Quran could not have been authored by Muhammad. My friend, carefully choosing his words, said, "I do not wish to offend you, for I know your deep reverence for the Quran, and I share with you the view that it is a valuable book. But why could it not have been authored by Muhammad? A man of Muhammad's greatness would not find it improbable to produce a book of the Quran's caliber. In fact, that would be more logical than to claim that God revealed it, for we have not seen God descend anything from the heavens. In our age, it is difficult to convince anyone that an angel named Gabriel came down from the sky with a book to reveal to someone." I replied calmly, "On the contrary, we live in an age where it is entirely easier to believe in unseen angels, and that truths can be revealed to man as divine inspiration. Today, people speak of flying saucers descending to Earth from distant planets, of invisible rays that kill, of radio waves that lock onto targets and strike them, of images converted into vibrations in the air only to be received by devices as small as tobacco boxes, of cameras that photograph ghosts, of eyes that see in the dark, of a man walking on the moon and a spacecraft landing on Mars. It is no longer strange to hear that God sent a hidden angel from among his angels and cast his revelation upon one of his prophets. The existence of Gabriel today is a second-degree reality, less wondrous and strange than what we see and hear every day. As for why we do not say the Quran is the authorship of Muhammad, it is because the Quran, in its form, expressions, letters, and what it contains of sciences, knowledge, secrets, rhetorical beauty, and linguistic precision, is something beyond the capability of any human to author. If we add to that the fact that Muhammad, peace be upon him, was unlettered, he could not read or write, he did not study in any school, he did not interact with other civilizations, and he never left the Arabian Peninsula, then the possibility of doubt and the plausibility of raising this question become impossible. And God challenges the deniers like you, those who claim the Quran was authored, in verse 38 of Surah Yunus. So bring a surah like it and call upon whoever you can besides God, if you should be truthful. He says, "Say, if mankind and the jinn gathered together to produce the like of this Quran, they could not produce the like of it, even if they were to each other assistants." The challenge still stands, and no one has ever come with anything like it. If we look at the Quran with impartiality and objectivity, we would completely rule out that Muhammad was its author. First, if he were his author, he would have infused it with his own worries and sorrows. We see him in a single year losing his wife Khadijah and his uncle Abu Talib. He had no other support in life besides them. His grief for them is immeasurable, yet there is no mention of them in the Quran, not a single word. Similarly, his son Ibrahim dies, and he weeps for him, yet no news of this appears in the Quran. The Quran is completely detached from the Mohammedan self. In fact, verses sometimes come contradicting what Muhammad does or thinks. At times, a verse is revealed reproaching him, as happened concerning the blind man, whom the Prophet turned from to attend to the nobles of Quraysh, as mentioned in Surah Abbas. He frowned and turned away, because the blind man came to him. But what would make you perceive, O Muhammad, that perhaps he might be purified, or be reminded, and the remembrance would benefit him? At times, a verse is revealed nullifying an action of the Prophet. It is not for a prophet to have prisoners until he inflicts a massacre in the land. You desire the commodities of this world, but God desires for you the hereafter. Had it not been for a prior decree from God, you would have been touched for what you took by a great punishment. You desire the commodities of this world, but God desires for you the hereafter, and God is exalted in might and wise. At times the Quran commands Muhammad, peace be upon him, to say to his followers what no author would say if he were composing the speech himself. Say, I am not something original among the messengers, nor do I know what will be done with me or with you. I only follow what is revealed to me, and I am not but a clear warner. No prophet would volunteer on his own to tell his followers, I do not know what will happen to me or you. I possess no power to harm myself or benefit myself, nor to harm or benefit you. This would cause his followers to abandon him. And this is what happened. The Jews used this verse as an excuse, saying, What good is a prophet who does not know what will happen to us or to him? This is a man of no use. Such verses could not have been authored by the prophet if he were composing the Quran himself. Second, if we then examine the Quranic expression, we find it unique and singular in its description, structure, and meanings. It has no parallel in the preceding literature of the Arabs, nor in what came later, as if the language is divided into poetry, prose, and the Quran. We are faced with a discourse that is in a class of its own. It is neither prose nor poetry. The music of poetry comes from meter and rhyme. We hear the poet Ibn al-Abras al-Asadi recite, He is poorer than his family, a slave. Nothing is in my hand, nor far away. Here the music emerges from the couplet structure and the rhyme on the extended dal. It is an external music. But the music of the Quran is internal. It says, My Lord, indeed my bones
have weakened, and my head has filled with white hair. And never have I been in my supplication to you, my Lord, unhappy. And this verse, Ta-ha, we have not sent down to you the Quran that you be distressed, only as a reminder for who fears, a revelation from He who created the earth and the highest heavens, the most merciful, who is above the throne established. When the verses deal with threat, the structure and carving of the phrase transform into boulders of rock, and the rhythm acquires a brazen clangor that strikes the hearing. Indeed, we sent upon them a screaming wind, on a day of continuous misfortune, tearing out the people as if they were trunks of uprooted palm trees. Words like screaming and uprooted, each word is like a boulder of stone. When the verse comes to narrate a tremendous event, like the end of the flood, the phrases become concise, like Morse code signals, and the entire verse becomes like a terse telegram with a tremendous impact. And it was said, O earth, swallow your water, and O sky, withhold your rain. And the water was subsided, and the matter was accomplished. This versatility in the carving of words, the structure of phrases, and the rhythm of the words, in harmony with meanings and feelings, reaches its peak in the Quran and always flows effortlessly, without affectation or strain. Third, if we proceed further in analysis, we will discover the extreme precision and astounding mastery. Every letter is in its place, no advancement or postponement. You cannot place one word instead of another, nor one letter instead of another. Every word has been tested from 1,000,000 words with a precise scale. We will see that this extreme precision has no parallel in any authored composition. Look at this word, fertilizing, in the verse, and we have sent the fertilizing winds. In the past, it was interpreted metaphorically, meaning that the winds stir up the clouds, causing rain to fall, thus fertilizing the land, meaning making it fertile. Then we learned today that winds drive positively charged clouds and cast them into the embrace of negatively charged clouds, resulting in lightning, thunder, and rain. In this sense, they are also fertilizing. We also now know that winds transfer pollen from one flower to another, fertilizing them in the literal sense. So, here we have a word that is true metaphorically, literally, and scientifically. Then, on top of that, it is an artistic literary sentence with a sweet rhythm. Here we see the ultimate precision in the selection and carving of the word. In another verse, "And do not consume your properties among yourselves unjustly, nor offer them as bribes to the judges, so that you may consume a portion of the people's property sinfully, while you know it is unlawful." The word "offer them," for the judge to whom the wealth is given is in a position above, not below. The Quran corrects the perspective. The hand that takes the bribe is the lower hand, even if it is the hand of the judge. Hence came the word "offer them" to the judges to express with unparalleled eloquence the baseness and lowness of the bribe giver. In the verse on jihad, "O you who have believed, what is the matter with you that when you are told, 'Go forth in the cause of God,' you adhere heavily to the earth?" The Quran uses the word "you adhere heavily" instead of "you are reluctant." It merges the letters, fusing them together to express the cowardice of the cowards who cling to the earth and embed themselves in it out of fear when called to fight. So the letters of the word came similarly embedded. In the verse about killing children out of poverty, we see it appears in two surahs. Verse 151 of Al-An'am, "And do not kill your children for fear of poverty, we provide for them and for you." And verse 31 of Al-Isra, "And do not kill your children for fear of poverty, we provide for them and for you." The difference between the two verses did not occur arbitrarily, but for calculated reasons. When the killing is for fear of poverty, it means the family is poor in the present, so it says, "We provide for you and for them." When the killing of children is for fear of poverty, it means poverty is a possibility in the future, so the verse points to the sons, saying, "We provide for them and for you." Such differences could not occur to the mind of an author. In cases of precedence and sequence, we always find a wisdom. We find the male thief mentioned before the female thief in the verse on theft, while the female fornicator is mentioned before the male fornicator in the verse on fornication. This is for a clear reason. The man is more active in theft. In fornication, the woman is the one who takes the initiative from the moment she stands before the mirror, applies perfume, puts on makeup, chooses the dress above the knee. She sets the traps for the promised man. The second verse of Surah Al-Nur, "The unmarried woman or unmarried man found guilty of sexual intercourse, lash each one of them with 100 lashes. The male thief and the female thief cut the hand of both." Similarly, the precedence of hearing over sight in more than 16 places. "And he gave you hearing and sight and hearts. And we gave them hearing and sight and hearts. How hearing they are and how seeing they are." The hearing, the sight, and the heart, all of those will be questioned. You could not hide yourselves from your hearing and your sight. There is nothing like unto him, and he is the hearing, the seeing. Always, hearing comes first. Undoubtedly, hearing is more acute and perfect than sight. We hear the jinn, but do not see them. The prophets heard God and spoke to him, but no one saw him.
Muhammad, peace be upon him, received the Quran by hearing. A mother distinguishes her son's crying in a crowd but cannot distinguish his face. Hearing accompanies a person during sleep. It remains alert while his eyes sleep. Whoever tries to dissect the auditory system knows it is more precise and delicate than the visual system. Similarly, the precedence of wealth over children. The day when there will not benefit anyone, wealth or children, but only one who comes to God with a sound heart. Your wealth and your children are but a trial. Their wealth will not avail them, nor their children against God at all. Do they think that what we extend to them of wealth and children is because we are hastening to them for good deeds? Rather, they do not perceive. So let not their wealth impress you, nor their children. Know that the life of this world is but play and amusement and adornment and boasting among you and competition in increase of wealth and children, like a rain whose resulting plant growth pleases the disbelievers. The examples of this precedence are numerous. The secret is that wealth is dearer to most people than children. Then there is the precision, subtlety, and refinement in grammar. Look at this verse. And if two factions among the believers should fight, then make settlement between them. Once, the two factions are treated as a plural, they fought, and once as a dual, between the two of them. The subtle secret is that the two factions in fighting merge and become a multitude of clashing arms, whereas in reconciliation they separate into two, and each sends a representative from itself. Hence it says, and if two factions among the believers should fight, then make settlement between the two of them. Even prepositions, conjunctions, and connectives come and are withheld in the Quran for profound reasons and with precise, meticulous calculation.
For example, the word "they ask you" comes in many places in the Quran. They ask you what they should spend, say the excess beyond needs. They ask you about the soul, say the soul is of the affair of my Lord. They ask you about the new moons, say they are measurements of time for the people. And say is always used in the answer. But when it comes concerning the mountains, and they ask you about the mountains, say, my Lord will blow them away with a blast. Here for the first time, then say comes instead of say. The reason is that all the previous questions had already been asked, but the question about the mountains had not been asked yet, as it is among the secrets of the resurrection. It is as if God is saying, and if they ask you about the mountains, then say. So the extra fa, then, came for a calculated reason. Whereas in the verse, and when my servants ask you concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the invocation of the supplicant when he calls upon me. Here the word say does not appear because the question is about God's essence, and God is more entitled to answer about himself. Similarly, the pronouns I and we. God speaks with the plural pronoun we wherever the expression is about a divine act in which a multitude of divine attributes share, such as creation, sending down the Quran, and preserving it. Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran. Indeed, it is we who have created you. Indeed, we sent it down during the night of decree. Then tell me about the semen that you emit. Is it you who creates it, or are we the creator? We have created them and strengthened their forms, and when we will, we can change their likenesses with a change. We here expresses the collectivity of the divine attributes working in magnificent creation, like the process of creation. However, when the verse is in the context of a direct address between God and his servant, as in the situation of conversation with Moses, the verse comes with the singular pronoun I. Indeed, I am God, there is no deity except me, so worship me and establish prayer for my remembrance. God says I because the presence here is the presence of the essence, and as an alert from him, glorified be he, to the issue of monotheism and the oneness in worship. We find such extreme precision in two similar verses about patience, where one differs from the other by the letter ram, the definite article, the. Luqman says to his son, "And be patient over what befalls you. Indeed, that is of the matters requiring determination." In another verse about patience, we read, "But if you are patient and pardon, indeed, that is of the matters requiring determination." Patience in the first is of the matters of determination, and in the second, it is of the matters requiring the utmost determination. The secret of the emphasis with the lamb in the second is that it is a doubled patience, for it is patience against human aggression where you have a grievance, and you are required in it to have both patience and forgiveness. This is harder on the soul than patience with divine decree, in which there is no recourse. We find this same observation regarding the lamb again in two verses about sending down rain and causing crops to grow. "Then tell me about the water that you drink. Is it you who brought it down from the clouds, or is it we who bring it down? If we willed, we could make it bitter." In another verse, "Then tell me about that which you sow. Is it you who makes it grow, or are we the grower? If we willed, we could make it dry debris." In the first verse, "We could make it bitter." In the third verse, "We could make it debris." The lamb came in the second for the necessity of emphasis, because there will be those who claim they can destroy the crops as the Creator destroys them and makes them debris, whereas no human will be able to claim that it is within their power to send down salty rain from the clouds, so there is no need to emphasize the speech. We find this same precision also in Abraham's description of his rod in the Quran, as the one who will cause me to die, then will give me life, and it is he who feeds me and gives me drink. The word he came when speaking about feeding to affirm the divine action, for everyone will claim that they feed him and give him drink, whereas no one will claim that they cause him to die and give him life as God causes him to die and gives him life. We find this precision also when the Quran addresses the Muslims, saying, "So remember me, I will remember you." And it addresses the Jews, saying, "And remember my favor which I have bestowed upon you." For the Jews are materialistic. They do not remember God except in blessing, benefit, and interest. The Muslims are more transparent. They understand the meaning of remembering God for his sake, not for benefit. With the same meaning, God says to the elite, those of understanding, "And fear me, O you of understanding."
Understanding. And he says to the common people, "And fear the fire which has been prepared for the disbelievers." For the common people are only deterred by the fire, whereas the elite know that God is more powerful than any fire, and that he can, if he wills, make the fire cool and safe. We find such extreme precision in the choice of words in the speech of Iblis when he swore to his Lord, saying, "By your might I will surely mislead them all." Iblis swore by the divine might and did not swear by anything else, thus proving his knowledge and intelligence. For this divine might is what necessitated God's self-sufficiency from his creation. Whoever wills may believe, and whoever wills may disbelieve. It will not harm God at all, for he is the Almighty, independent of his creation, the rich beyond need of the worlds. God says in the Hadith Qudsi, "These are in the fire, and I do not care, and these are in paradise, and I do not care." This is the requirement of the divine might. It is the only breach through which Iblis can enter. Through it he can mislead and tempt, because God will not compel anyone who chooses disbelief over faith. And for this reason he said, "By your might I will surely mislead them all. I will certainly approach them from their front, from their rear, from their right, and from their left." He mentioned the 4 directions, but did not mention above them or below them, for above is lordship, and below is the humility of servitude. Whoever maintains their lower place in relation to their higher Lord, Satan cannot enter upon them. Then Iblis mentioned that his preferred seat for misguidance would be the straight path, on the path of good and on the prayer rug. For the one who neglects prayer, the drunkard and the debauched are not in need of Iblis to mislead them. Their own souls have undertaken to mislead them. He is a ruined person, and Iblis is a thief who loves to waste his time hovering around ruined houses. Another example of Quranic precision is found in the precedence of forgiveness over punishment and mercy over wrath in the Quran. God in Al-Fatiha is the most gracious, the most merciful, before being the master of the Day of Judgment. He is always described as He forgives whom He wills and punishes whom He wills. Forgiveness comes first before punishment, except in 2 places. In the verses of cutting the hand, in verse 40 of Surah Al-Maidah, He punishes whom He wills and forgives whom He wills, because the punishment of cutting the hand is a worldly punishment followed by otherworldly forgiveness. In the speech of Jesus on the day of resurrection about the polytheists who worshipped Him besides God, He says to His Lord, "If you should punish them, indeed they are your servants, but if you forgive them, indeed it is you who is the exalted in might, the wise." He does not say, "For you are the oft-forgiving, the most merciful," out of reverence, and He mentions the punishment before the forgiveness due to the enormity of the sin they committed. We find this Quranic precision again in the Quran's treatment of time. The future, when mentioned on the tongue of the Creator, is described as past. The events of the day of resurrection are all related as if they have already happened, and the horn will be blown, and the heaven will split open, and hellfire will be brought forth, and they will be presented before your Lord in rows. The secret in this is that all events, their present and future, have already occurred in God's knowledge. There is no time with God that veils the future from Him. He is above time and place. Therefore, we sometimes read the Quranic expression and find it speaking about 2 different times, appearing contradictory on the surface, like, "The command of God has come, so do not be impatient for it." The command has come and occurred in the past, but God is addressing people not to be impatient for it, as if it were a future event that has not yet occurred. The secret, as we explained, is that it has occurred in God's knowledge, but has not yet occurred in people's knowledge. There is no contradiction, only precision, mastery, subtlety, profound truths, and truth in deep meanings. These are some examples of the extreme precision and meticulous carving in the structure of the Quranic expression and in the choice of words and usage of letters. No increase, no decrease, no advancement, no postponement, except by calculation and balance. We know of no parallel to this in any authored book or composition. We find it only in the Quran. As for the glimpses of science in the Quran and the wonders of the cosmic verses that came with secrets and mysteries unknown to Muhammad, peace be upon him, or his era, that is another topic, lengthy and requiring another session.